Bye, guys. Welcome to the It's More Than Just Money movement channel. We're sitting at the Winner's Circle, and we're doing it right at the It's More Than Just Money movement store at Mall of Africa, South Africa, Johannesburg. Wherever you're watching from, please remember to subscribe. Remember to click on the notifications bell, comment, let us know where you're watching from, and also let me know which part of the conversation resonates with you. Today, I am interviewing a phenomenal businesswoman, and I'm going to actually let her do the introduction and introduce herself.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you. My name is Maggie Mojapelo, as you have said. When I want to brag, I tell people that I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, an amazing wife, I think.
An amazing wife.
Yes. I'm sure my husband would say that. I'm a mother. I think I'm an amazing mother with two beautiful, amazing children, my son and my daughter. And I'm also an executive in different companies. I'm also a board member. I chair committees. I chair boards. I'm also a consultant. I consult. I really become led. It's not like every day we lead, but I become led in my company. And I'm a co-founder of a company called the HR Touch.
Yes.
I am the majority shareholder. I think lots of times when you talk about the HR Touch, when people just hear the word HR, they're thinking recruitment, thinking ER, thinking payroll. It's more than just that. You say it's more than just money. I say it's more than just that when you think recruitment. We are a management consulting firm, and I think I'm very proud to say we really solve real business issues. Our motto is we drive people performance. Really, we're saying you have a strategy. Even if you look at the store, it looks amazing. You asked me earlier on, what do you love about the store? I said to you, I love the brain behind this store. I love the innovation that I see here. I love the thinking that I see in this store. Actually, what am I saying? I love the people behind the store. That's what we do.
Sure. So, and you're right. A lot of people, when they hear HR Touch, they're thinking recruitment, they are thinking payroll, and you just said it's not even about that. But, I've always wondered, when I look at your journey and I look at your story, I've always wondered, where did it all start? A lot of people, when they meet people like you, they'll always look at the glory, and I always say, behind the glory, there's always a story. And what exactly is the story, and where did the passion start? Is it something you've always known, or is it something you picked up along the way that I'm actually good at this, and this is my value to South Africa that I'm going to offer?
I want to tell you, I didn't even know HR exists many years ago. Maybe just to tell you where it all started. My father. My father has been my role model since I was born. My father grew up without a mother. You can imagine, many years ago. Today, this year, he will be close to 100. But then his mother died when he was 5. And he really, really struggled. He had nothing. He could not even go to school. But that didn't stop my father to be the best of who he wants to be. And that didn't stop my father to really make us to be the best of who we end up being. And that did not stop my father to be a provider, not just to us, to his sisters, to his brothers, to his extended family, despite how he grew up. And it just really amazed me that if my father could do it, And the love he had for his children, how much he believed in each one of us, made me to realize that I have a responsibility to show my dad that you have done it. I'm going to do it even better, to really celebrate him. Whatever I'm doing to celebrate my father. Let me talk about my mother. My mother we grew in a small village, very rural. We used to go and we didn't have water in the house. We used to go and get it out there. We didn't have electricity. Everything we did was very manual. My mother had a full-time job that he was doing, but she could still be a proper housewife. So he had a 5 to 7 job from Monday to Friday, but she did everything that a housewife did. And she had 7 children that she raised meticulously. So having a mother that did 3 jobs, and also she was an entrepreneur. She made us entrepreneurs at a very young age. We were selling tomatoes. I sold tomatoes at the age of 10. That made me, somehow, I was just raised by people that were hungry for something. So I know nothing. I just know hunger. I know follow through. And that aspiration, it has made me to always look at, what can I do? What can I do? Actually, my father, I call my father Tata.
Tata.
Yeah, Tata wanted me to be a medical doctor. He really...
I was about to ask, you wanted to impress him. And in your era, a lot of people, if they wanted to impress anyone, would want to be doctors.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask, well, that was going to be my next question. Why didn't you actually become a doctor or a lawyer, but rather choose a different path? But please continue.
My path, somehow, from a career perspective, I didn't choose I'm going to be HR. I was always driven by, what can I do that is different? It was just what drove me. What can I do that is different, that I can love? I never knew what it is. I didn't know. I remember when I finished university, really my father wanted me to be a medical doctor. He literally took me to Medunsa to register medicine. And fortunately, they didn't accept me. So because I wasn't doing physics, I was only doing maths and biology.
Did you want to be a doctor as well?
No, I didn't want it. And actually, we used to do assessments, and the assessments said I can be a very good teacher, a very good social worker. Somehow I like social worker at some stage. And it's because there was a lady that used to drive a car. And imagine around those years, if a woman was driving...
What year was this?
Around 1983.
1983?
Yes. Yes.
I wasn't born, eh?
Yes, I know. I know you're not born. But, and that was the only thing that attracted me. It was like, this lady, not a lot of ladies driving a car. I think if I become a social worker, I'm going to drive one of the cars. So you can see I was just inspired by just watching something that is different. That was the inspiration. And I ended up at TEFLIOP, University of the Limpopo now. And I think it was a God-ordained journey because I started with pharmacy. I studied pharmacy first year.
You studied pharmacy?
Yes. And I hated it.
It was next to medicine.
Yes, because my father thought after passing pharmacy, then I'll do medicine. But I tell you, I went to class every day. When I woke up, I was miserable. I hated it. But I had my father to please. And one day, I remember I had the courage to go to the phone and tell my father that, Dada, I don't like this. I'm miserable. I don't like this. Allow me to come home and stay home for 6 months and come back and just do something so that I can pass and make you happy. And then thereafter, I promise you, I'll go and look for something that will make you proud. I made a promise then that I'll make my father proud. But at least it will be something that I believe in, something that I love. And he was really adamant because he wanted to understand what is this thing. But I still said to him, give me, and I promise you, I know that you trust me. Trust me, I won't disappoint you. So I was privileged to meet the man of my life. At that time, it was my boyfriend.
Before you went back home?
Yes. No, after I came back. Sorry, I didn't mention. I went back. I went home. I stayed for 6 months.
Yeah.
I came back.
Yes.
A week, just coming back, I met my husband. But it was my boyfriend.
It's 1984 now.
Now it's 1985.
Yeah. 1985,
yes. I met my boyfriend and he was studying industrial psychology. He was studying BA administration and measuring in industrial psychology. And each time I visited him in his room,
What were you studying at the time?
I was doing, and then I studied teaching.
You were doing teaching?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I studied teaching. Something also, it's not like I liked it, but I liked the fact that I'll pass it and finish and go and start my own thing that I drive, that I love. So I was visiting him and they were discussing industrial psych. I remember he was doing industrial psych 3. They were discussing. As they were discussing, I felt, this is something I love. I don't know what it is, but the things they're talking about, I wish I could be talking about these things. And then I told him, after everybody left, and I said, unfortunately, I've already registered. I don't know what to do, but let me just finish this because I think my parents will think I'm changing all the time. Let me just finish this thing.
Like as in finish the teaching degree?
Yes. I started, it was first year, second year, third year, it was 4-year degree. I finished it. And I still didn't like it. To be honest, it was so easy that I had so much time with my friends and my boyfriends. It was so much easier for me. But also I'm a very relationship-driven person.
Yeah,
I like to connect. I love being with people. I just love being where people are. And I think that's really what made me finish my degree.
And medicine was not going to allow you to do that.
No, that was the main thing. I remember we went with my father to a doctor because I wasn't well at some stage. And when we come out, he says to me, this is what I want you to be. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, that guy sits in the room every day telling people how sick they are. That's not what I want. I want to be laughing and being happy every day. And really, I think I enjoyed my happiness with my friends. And I wasn't a party person. I was really just someone who, well, every day you come to my room, you'll have friends. We are laughing. We are sitting on the bed. Very few. I'm always, a lot of people think I'm a party person, but actually I'm not. I'm a very inclusive, very seclusive person. I love very few people around me so that I can give them the attention they deserve. I had that. I had many friends, but I finished my degree. As soon as I finished, unfortunately, when I finished, or fortunately, when I finished, I already had a baby. My beautiful daughter, Mahlasedi, and my husband decided to get married immediately, but immediately I registered for my psychology that I've always wanted to do.
Industrial psychology?
No, I registered psychology.
For psychology?
Yeah, psychology, yeah. Because my husband told me that I can register psychology. Second year, I can change to mentor.
So he was your husband and mentor?
Oh, he's still my mentor.
He's still your mentor?
To this day.
I look at the smile.
Yes, and I talk about it. Right? He's still my mentor.
When you get married, your wife must talk about you like this.
Yes. So he's still my mentor to this day. So I registered and I did it myself. I was teaching, studying at the same time. And I've always known I don't want to do teaching until I die. And I started applying any job, as long as it's, I look at it, I read.
Were you applying while doing the psychology?
Yes, psychology and doing teaching at the same time.
Yes.
But I remember there was a post.
Did you become a teacher?
Yes, I was a teacher for 7 years.
Did you teach?
Yes, I taught maths.
You taught? Oh,
yes. I taught maths. I remember when I came, I was young and everybody was saying, how are you going to teach the maths the maths and maths students, because you are young, and these kids, they are very bullying in the class. And the thing I did was, I just thought, what can I do? Every environment that I do, I always say, you have a responsibility to really do what you're expected to do and not be intimidated by what you hear. And I knew if I prepare myself very well and go into that class with confidence, this thing of delelaring won't even be next to me. I tell you, I enjoyed my teaching years. I prepared. I used to cross night and teach myself math so well that when I get into the class, the kids, when they look at me, they think, what a teacher. That's all. And I used to sit and study their names one by one and get to know their families, get to know who they are. I knew their names. I called them by their names. And that just made them to feel special. And I can tell you today that I enjoyed my 7 years of teaching. I know that there's this belief that it's hard to teach children. But I tell you, it's hard for me to believe that it's hard to teach children because I know that when children respect you and when you prepare so well and they believe that you take them serious, they follow you. People follow people that they respect. And I feel I was respected. But along those years, I was applying every year, applying for any job that I see on newspaper. That was the days when Sunday Times used to have like a big page of careers. I used to read one by one. I tried any job that I saw. I remember I tried for Shini. There was a sales job. They actually nearly took me because it was a floor manager job. I didn't have a clue of what it means. And then I went into the shop. I asked someone and I said, what is a floor manager in here? She showed me another lady and said, that's a floor manager. I went to her and I said, what does a floor manager do? I didn't even ask. I didn't tell her that I've applied because I wasn't sure if she knew that I've applied, will she want to
still share the
information. Yeah. And then she said, no, a floor manager makes sure that floor which she's focusing on, it has everything. If things finishes, she record quickly. She gave me all the information. And I felt like I can go for an interview for a floor manager job. And they called me for an interview. Actually, I was accepted. But the only thing was the money. We already had other responsibilities and they told me that there's a base and a commission. Also, I didn't understand this thing of commission base, but I didn't know who to ask about it. I wasn't worried that I don't know. I was always worried, who can I ask? Who can I ask? Who can help me? Who can support me with this? Because I knew, I don't know, but someone knows. And if I ask them, and one day, as I was sitting, my husband got it. Actually, my husband applied for a job in Johannesburg to assist me to come and get a job in Johannesburg because he felt it wasn't going to be easy for me to move to private sector in Polokwane. Sure. So you can see it was someone sacrificed for me to really find these opportunities. We came to Johannesburg, but before we came, maybe I must tell you this, there was an advert, a job that was looking for a publishing an editor.
A publishing editor?
Yeah.
For what, magazine or?
No, for educational books.
Okay.
Yeah. And they needed someone with very strong African languages. To be honest, African languages were not my strength. But I had a friend by Maureen Ramusi, who was already an editor at that time, a publishing editor at that time. I knew that
relationships.
Yes, I said I don't have to worry about anything. My friend, it's in this job. I phoned her. She really went step by step. What do you do as an publishing editor? Step by step. She even said to me, "Don't go to work the following day. Go to so and so. Go and just sit the whole day and look at what they do." I did exactly that. I came. And then I drove to Johannesburg because the job was in Johannesburg. It was with Mascumila Longman. Mascumila Longman,
okay,
yeah. Yes, I came to Johannesburg. I was interviewed. There were many. I remember there was a lady I knew who did masters in in Sipedi, who was in part of the people that were also interviewed. It didn't intimidate me that I don't even have an honors in this thing that they are interviewing us. But I knew, I understand what this job is looking for. And I got the job. And that's how I left teaching. That's how I started in private sector. I promise you, I got there within 3 months, I was promoted. I remember when I walked in, I didn't even know what a computer looks like. And when I walked into my office,
seeing a computer.
Yes. When I walked into my office, there was a computer. I didn't even know where to touch. I went to a PA of my boss and I said, let me tell you, I don't know how that computer works. She came and told me, you touch it here. She showed me this is a mouse. You know why it is a mouse? Because it goes this thing that looks like a mouse. You move with it. I did not even know how am I going to. I used to call her every lunch to come and sit with me and say, how do I do this thing? How do I do this thing? How do I do what? So, and really that just showed me that how you don't have to be scared to ask. Ask a lot of questions. You will be taught and you'll become better and you'll become clever every day. I was asking all the way, asking. And I remember they even sent me to go and learn Microsoft Office and sent me to learn the computer. A friend of mine, that's Maureen Ramusi's husband, Mutibi, even sent me to a program with vets where they were teaching us about a computer. And they were just teaching us, what is a computer? How do you open a computer? It helped me a lot.
Were these courses outside of your
outside my actual work? Anything that will help me, I was part of it. Anything that will help me. I read a lot. I asked a lot. And if they tell me, I'll go for it. And in the process, I was studying, finishing my degree. And one day, someone said there used to be this tribute forums that happened every day. And one of the people that I know invited me. They used to be in Sandton. I went there. And in that session, it was about this new curriculum, the OBE. At that time, it was outcomes-based education, had just started. But because I worked for publishing, so I could relate to the language. And someone asked a question, and I could hear that people are not answering this question the way it should be answered.
What was the question?
I don't remember the question, but I remember people were worried about this outcomes-based education that will it work in rural schools because it needs a lot of practical work. And I remember, I think one of the answers that I gave was that, and I raised my hand to answer the question. Mm-hmm. And when we came out, as we were having like a networking, one lady said to me, I liked the way you answered the question. What's your name? I gave her the name. I gave her my name, my number. 2 weeks down the line, she called me and said, IBM is looking for someone with education background. And they think I can come into IBM. They are looking at partnering with Boston. They are running an IT training institution, similar to what the Microsoft certified programs, where you go and learn Microsoft and you become certified. So we were going to certify people with Lotus. And it was an Indian model where they take engineers, become student, and they teach them technology, and they go and either you go sell technology, you go sell a technology solution, or you become a developer, or you become a network, a system engineer, or you become a support person. And I said, but I've never done this. But she said to me, but something that I don't like is to start from, I don't know this. It was like, oh, thank you for today. How are you going to help me to make sure I do a good job? That's the question that normally I ask. And then she said, no, don't worry. We're going to send you to India to learn this model. They're going to teach you. You'll be working with Lechabile. Lechabile was a business partner to IBM. They know technology that will help you. I said, yes, I want it. And then
When you quit that job,
yes,
the publishing
I got
editor.
publishing. I had resigned. I actually, to be honest, I had resigned. Let me be honest. I had resigned. I was serving notice, and they were still begging me to stay. I mean, one thing I can tell you: when you give me something, trust that I'll overdo it. That you'll end up. I've never had to ask for an increase in any job I did, because I really put my all.
For more than 30 years?
For more than 30 years. I never, ever had to step and say, please give me this increase. Because...
What do you think is the secret there? Sorry.
Yeah.
I need to ask you this.
Yeah.
Why do you think you've never had to ask for an increase?
Look, one of the things that my parents taught me was that when someone gives you a job, realize that, first of all, you're blessed. A job is like, don't look at it, it's a job for money. Look at it, God has blessed me with this to serve, and do it excellently. Own it. Ownership. Do it in a manner that it solves the problem that they've asked you to come and solve. Make the life of your boss so easy that they recognize that without you, your space to be filled will be very hard to fill. That's the approach that I've always looked at things. Even now in our consulting space, when we work with clients, we believe they're paying us. We don't want them to remind us of when are you delivering this. We remind them. We follow through. We ask them, what are you? And I think that's one of the things that really grow our business. That people know that that's how they sell us, our customers, when they sell us to their other colleagues. They will say the HR touch. When you give them something, snip, they will do what is expected of them. And that's the approach that I've always taken since I was young. And as a result of that, I was really honored that I worked for managers that they knew what they were looking for. They were not looking for competition. They were not scared to hire people that know what they're doing. I think so, because I really had great leaders. Mpoli Tlape, an amazing leader. Dudu Nyamani, an amazing leader. And there are women. Katie Similani, amazing leader. Shelly Zen, amazing women that led me and really empowered me to be the best of who I want to be. And after empowering me, making sure I'm recognized for what I give to them. So, and that really didn't make me look at how much you must pay me. I've always looked at how much can I do for you.
Yeah. So then you go to India?
Yes. I did not end up going to India. When I came in, it was actually, I went to India. The purpose was just to understand how it works. Going to India nearly made me to think, will this run in South Africa? First of all, because the population is close to the center, it was easy for the student to walk to the center. Here, the first worry was, if a person comes from Soweto and maybe he's working or he's not working, how will he travel to here? So there were a lot of things that could make this project not work. But we quickly, together with Lichabile and IBM, changed it a bit. We made it a profitable center where people registered for IT and they paid. It was 15,000. It was a lot of money, but we had a lot of graduates, good graduates. And I tell you, some of them, they are doing so well. They are running their own IT because it was very practical, very, very practical. It made them to go out and really run their own businesses out there. And as we were running the project, it was a partnership between Boston and IBM. Unfortunately, that partnership didn't work that much. And I was absorbed into IBM. And I was absorbed in HR. It became a social responsibility. And I did a lot of other graduate programs.
Oh, so you came into HR to do their corporate social responsibility.
But more graduate programs. So that's why, because it was like more talent. So it was graduates going out, finding graduates for IT, for the company, and then training them to be IT, and then helping them to see where they fit within the value chain of whether IT architect, whether IT sales, whether IT deliverer, whether IT consulting, whether project management. So we had like a graduate program where we took IT students and helped them to identify what career can they go into. I really think that's something that IBM must still bring it back on, or not IBM only. Every company must actually establish a graduate program where you just bring graduates that come in and you set up a process which help them to understand what careers are available in the company and what does it take, and teach them, and they choose, and then you enable them to get. And IBM has done a very good. Coca-Cola South Africa also has the same. We did the same thing where...
Are you the one who implemented it when you came from IBM now?
Yeah, no, I found it was just starting, and I led it because it was reporting under me. So I led it. And I really feel it's something that I love, and I wish I could set up and partner with different companies, because it's a skill I've really acquired. And I think companies like yourself, I think it could be such a beautiful thing where we bring students and we come up, we partner together and enable them to learn the work. Because,
we've just taken 4. How many did we take, Nico? We took 5 students, right? And then we left with 4 because one, there's a story there, but we've got 4 that we're actually training.
Brilliant.
But continue.
Yeah. So that's that. And then while I was at IBM, one day my boss, Mpo, came and said, Maggie, you're going to be the head of learning and development for IBM. Something I had never seen in my life. And amazingly, the guy he was retiring, whom I was going to take over from him, may his soul rest in peace, Les Battle. Mpo said, you're going to be the Les Battle of the company.
Sure.
I mean, those were her words.
Yeah.
And this is an incredible human being. I mean, what a talent. I promise you, I went home, I slept, but I was saying, am I going to feel into those shoes? First of all, I said, let me not think about his shoes. Let me think about my own shoes, and let me think about him helping me to feel my own shoes. Yeah. That was really how I thought about it, because I thought if I look at him, I'll be so discouraged that I don't think I'll ever. And I went and I met with him, and I said exactly those words. Help me to fill my own shoes. You are the smartest thing I've ever seen. How can I be smart like you? He said, you don't have to be me, Maggie. I'm old. You're going to be the best. You're going to be better than me because new things are coming. He said, the first 3 months, you're going to watch me. The second 3 months, we're going to work together. The next 3 months, you're going to do, I watch you.
So he mentored you before he left?
Exactly.
Wow.
Mpo asked me, what do I want for me to be able to do this job? I said, let me go and think about it. And I came back. That was the solution that I asked for in the company. I said, can I now sit and watch him doing the job knowing this is going to be my job? Because I need not to watch him like that. Now I want to just watch him. Walk with him, be a partner with you. And then the next time he does something, he correct me. The next time I do, he'll watch me. Exactly. I did exactly that. And in the process, I was really given opportunities to travel the world, meet different specialists in this area, in different aspects of the L&D environment. I mean, the graduate program, I was privileged.
You worked in the States at some point?
Yes, I went there to do graduate program in different provinces within, different cities in the US to really understand how they do graduate program, especially from a transformation perspective. Because in South Africa, also transformation from a technology perspective was a big thing. And I will go UK to watch how they do talent management. I'll go different countries to see how they think workforce planning, how they think graduate. One day I'll go somewhere how they think skills. So I was really, really privileged. And I came back. I did the job. As I was doing, one day I was called in the office. Maggie, you are now the company is going through the transformation of HR. Human resources being transformed from being a support function to being truly a business partnering function and to really adopting the strategic role in the business and also making sure that we implement a shared service where we remove duplication. We used to have maybe 5 people doing leave for this, one for this department, one. Now we're not going to do that. We are now becoming like a bank where we have one app. We all are working through that app. So, and I was privileged that I was asked to lead that transformation project for South Africa, on behalf of South Africa, because it was a global project. And that really made me to understand what HR is all about and made me to understand what do we do in HR. When we're saying we're a business partner, what do we do? When you're saying I'm a center of excellence, when you're saying I'm leading HR, what does it look like? And how does it connect to the business? And I really, with that, it now forced me to really force to understand business. I literally stopped to think and read every aspect of the business because I knew for me to do that, and still studying, by the way, still doing my MAP with vets, started a full new degree.
And you finished the psychology degree?
Yes, I was busy with it. And
so you were studying, you were being a mother,
being a wife, a daughter-in-law, a friend, a sister, anything you can imagine.
And you were still cooking
very well in my house, very well. And because my husband and my kids love my food, I had no option but to cook. But to be honest, I also made sure that I have a good support system in the house. I had the most amazing helper and I was clear that certain things, especially with the career that I was on, the first thing is what is the type of support that I need. Having a good helper was the number one thing for me. Teaching her exactly what I want in the house and what we need as a family. I mean, when we went on holiday.
Was she not with you for over 30 years?
32 years.
32
over
years.
32 years. Same age. Actually, it's 34 years because she started with my daughter at home.
Yes.
So only when we came and then so she's been amazing. When we go on holiday, she will pack for us. Pack 100%. All what we did, we'll take just the luggage and leave the house. That's how brilliant she was. Brilliant. That's how brilliant she was. So a support system for me was very important. When I focus on something, I don't want distraction. And sometimes we distract ourselves because we want to do everything and we don't sacrifice. And we sacrificed. Not that we had the money to afford a helper, but we sacrificed. I remember my husband and I, we sacrificed and said, we're going to buy ourselves. Anything we buy from Mr. Price because it's reasonable. We used to wear RT jeans.
I remember RT jeans.
Yes, RT jeans. And they were very reasonable. They were very reasonable for us. So, and we sacrificed because we wanted to make sure our helper is well paid, is well looked after. We bought, and our kids are well fed because we believed we didn't have any other opportunity to go back and raise them. We wanted to make sure that we are comfortable with their age and we give them the best of what we can give them. And I studied at the same time as I was doing these jobs, traveling, having a family, I was studying.
And now you get this promotion.
And this promotion.
Yeah.
And I was ready. And then my husband and I, at some stage, we agreed. We used to travel, both of us. We used to, I'll come one day, land, and he's off.
Because he was busy too, building his career.
Yeah. And one day we really sat and said, we've got children. We have to be very careful that we don't get to really love what we do and neglect the fact that we are raising other human beings that in the future, they're going to want the best future like us. And my husband decided that he's going to downgrade the traveling. He's going to talk to his employer, being SARS, that he wants a job closer to the house. And then he was given a managerial role at Randburg, which was close to us. We are also staying in Randburg. So that made him to be able to pick up our kids, drop our kids, be there for the kids.
I'm interested. And now, I mean, I've asked you this question before, but I'm going to ask it now. Why is it that between the two of you, he was the one that decided, I will take less responsibilities and be at home. Well, not really at home, but I'll be more involved with the kids, where it could have been a situation where we say, but you're a lady. You are the one whose responsibilities need to be less at work and focus on the kids. Why did you guys do it the other way around? And it's worked, obviously.
Yeah.
Why did you do it the other way around?
Yeah. My husband was doing well already in his career. But somehow he's such a selfless individual. He never think about himself before he think about someone else. That's number one. Number two, he knows himself. He's very confident in who he is. And number three, in our house, money has never been something that drives the family. It has always been, how satisfied are you? It has always been the passion we do, the things we do we love them? And he saw the love of what I do. And he really wanted to nurture the love of the things I do. Versus he did, I promise you, he didn't even think what it means financially. He was so happy that I'm happy with what I do.
Putting in the work as well.
Exactly. He really appreciated my passion, and he was supporting my passion and supporting what I believe in and enabling me. I mean, he did my MBA with me. He did my studies with me. He will correct everything I do. I'll sit and read with him word for word because he had already done that. So I just feel he's a one human being, and talking to men, also to husband, is if you're a man and if you trust who you are, you can enable anything in your house. He really provided the leadership that enabled both me and my children to be the best of who we want to be in so many ways, while himself also achieving what I think, what really today, if you ask my husband, what makes him happy is that he's got children and a husband and a wife that loves what they do and that know what they have to do and that have really experienced everything that they want to experience, including him. I mean, today we are all in the same business. My husband is part of the business. My kids are part of the business. The partnership, the teamwork that we have. A lot of people always ask me, how does it work? And I say, it's because of the leadership of my husband, who doesn't just lead himself. He leads by showing, and he leads by believing, and he leads by giving himself away to enable people around him. And he doesn't do it only to me. He does it to everybody that get to know him. So, and as I say, it wasn't a money thing. It was just my husband and my wife love this. Let me support her.
So they came to you and said, now you're going to move from the job that you're doing and you're going to do what now?
So and then I led the transformation project. It was based in the UK. I was privileged to travel between UK, Hungary, because we are setting up the shared services in Hungary. And I was also privileged to travel to India because at some stage it moved from Hungary to the UK. While I was busy transforming, and now we reduced HR from being 52 people to 11 people because lots of things were automated. And I was really loving what I do. Someone called me and said, Maggie, there's a job. And it was 5 years later. Within 5 years, I had done so many jobs. I had traveled, and someone called me, it was a search firm, said, Avon Justine, Avon has just bought into South Africa. They acquired Justine. They're looking for someone with transformation background to lead HR. And I just thought of you. I like your energy. I like who you are. And I thought technology and selling, direct selling. I mean, here we are talking direct selling. And she really persuaded me. I said, I love IBM.
She headhunted you.
Yes. I said, I love IBM. IBM is looking after me. And I was doing organizational design. I was doing change management. I was doing talent management. I was doing HR transformation. You can imagine, I was doing all the beautiful things that any HR
winning awards.
Exactly.
Left, right, and center.
And this lady said, please just go and meet them, even if you don't take the job. Amazingly, when I came to Avon, I met Getty Similani. Oh, I just loved her humility. I loved who she was. And that punished me because it was like, if she says, come and do this job, come, I want you to come into Avon Justine. She was the HR director. She was leaving Avon Justine. They said to her, you're not leaving until you find us someone. And then she told me in that in those discussions that, Maggie, you are the right person for this job. And I said, but Getty, I love IBM. IBM is looking after me.
Yeah,
I don't have a reason to leave.
People at IBM.
And she said, but Maggie, you love this even more. And I said, but Getty, I'm only 5 years in the HR profession. And you are talking about an HR director role. But she said, Maggie, after speaking with you, I think you have it. You can do this job. I went back, I told my husband that they are saying they want me to be an HR director for Avon Justine. And you know how big this job is. They want me to create one company because Avon Justine were separate companies. They want me to create one company, one culture, two brands. Sure. You can imagine what a mammoth task. But because I had already been challenged before and I succeeded, this challenge just sounded like, I want this. I took the job, Getty within a month, I think within 2 months, she said, I'm leaving. She was going to Deutsche Bank. She said, Maggie, I'm leaving you here. And I remember saying, Getty, but this job wants me to go. Yes, within few months. I said, Getty, but this job wants me to go to sit in Exco. I don't even know what to do when you're at Exco. Do I smile? What do I do? She said, don't worry. Exco it's just a normal meeting. I'll help you. I'll help you. I worked with Getty. I'm still working with Getty to this day. To this day, she's still part of my life. I went into the first Exco. She was just there helping me, saying, this is what you prepare. This is how you need to think in the room. Don't talk if you don't understand. Write it down. Come back. Tell me I did exactly that.
And how do you end up at Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola.
As an HR director, because now you were at
Avon. I left Avon to Nedbank.
To Nedbank, okay.
Yes, Nedbank. I happened to be sitting, I attended a function. I sat with Tom Bodman at the same table. And we were talking. Tom said to me, oh, Maggie, actually we are looking for someone to integrate, to be the HR director that leads the integration of the 4 banks. Remember, Nedbank was created by 4 banks. We are creating a green bank. That's when they were thinking about the app, the Nedbank app. So I was part of the HR leader that led the thinking behind the setting up of the project that led to the app you have today, the Nedbank app. And I was loving it. Well, I was loving it. I was headhunted. We had just won the World Cup. And they were looking for an HR director to come in.
No, is that not AFCON?
No.
World Cup rugby.
World Cup, our World Cup. So 2010.
Oh, we are won the bid.
Won the bid.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
So won the bid.
Sorry, World Cup.
Yes,
World Cup. Hopefully they'll win AFCON.
I think they're going to win. I think they're going to
And we will go to the World Cup and win.
Yes. So we had just won the bid of
That's 2006.
2006, yes. So they headhunted me, but I joined them 2007.
Yeah.
To set up the FIFA 2010 function that was really looking after running the World Cup. When I brag, I tell people that I prepared the World Cup, I ran the World Cup, I handed over the World Cup. So I was my family were part of the World Cup. I was part of the World Cup. I traveled everywhere. We were in the media everywhere. I hold the cup. Anything you can ever think about the World Cup. So I was part of that. We celebrated 100 years before the World Cup. We did everything. So if you want to ask me about the World Cup, I actually can be a consultant on how you think about setting the infrastructure that leads the success of, because Coca-Cola is the main, as the biggest sponsor.
Yeah, but you're still at Nedbank.
No, I had already left. I joined Coca-Cola. I resigned
just before the World Cup.
Yes.
So
I stayed at Nedbank. I stayed only 3 years, 2.5 years. Yeah.
And then
I was headhunted to join
by Coca-Cola again.
Yes.
Do you realize that in your story, every time you had a job, you were headhunted, you never applied for.
No, I never applied for any job.
And these are big jobs.
Big jobs. I never applied for any job. And I think it really talks to, I had a good CV. I have a good CV. I really, and it's not just a CV. And maybe it's something I didn't share, which some of the listeners might be interested to. When I left teaching, I actually wanted to drop and go and register a degree. Finish my psychology degree. A friend of mine, Mahlatse, said to me, she was so worried. She said to me, you've got a family, you want to drop and go and study a degree. No, she paid 10 rand for me to go at Vet's career unit, to just go and package my CV. And when I packaged my CV, it wasn't about what you have done. It was, what is the potential you have? A lot of times, people, when I look at the CVs, we try to scrap and tell organizations what we have done. But to be honest, what you have done is not relevant to what they're looking for. Yet, you've got the potential to learn and do what they're looking for. And that's how I learned, and that's what I do lots of times to help people. I look at the CVs, I say to them, I remember I helped my daughter. She used to say, Mom, I applied, but people seem not to look at my CV. I helped her with the CV. The following day, she was called for an interview. She was taken. And I want to say it on this forum that a CV, it's not about what you have done. It's about what you can do. Nowadays,
Say that again.
It's not what you have done. It's about what you can do. And I know that a lot of times companies will come and ask you, we are looking for someone with a very strong, there's nothing wrong to mention it, but I think it's quite important to sell the potential you have and ask people to support you. Because if a CV, it's not a small thing. It's your entry to any door you want to open. People read your CV and they want to call you. And if the CV doesn't make sense, people won't call you. People will never want, and I look at the people that have, and one of the things that I've been trying to do is really to teach people how to write CVs. But I promise you, I feel like I don't have the time to do that. But I want to create that time.
We must do a master class on that. You do the master class.
Because organizations are losing out on the talent that is out there. In the HR touch, because I now understand that it's not about what you've done, it's about what you can do. We take people from nowhere and we turn them into brilliant consultants. I'm proud to say I look at some of the talent that big organizations like your Deloitte have taken them from us, who today are leading, not just locally, globally. And it's because we saw potential and we think with them. Because in our job, we think. A lot of time in our company, it's about thinking. If we see that you can think, we want you. If we see, and I think one of the things that we undermine is the knowledge of really utilizing technology. Today, we look for people that can use technology. And it's something that all of us, we've got aspiration, we've got opportunity to do. But I look at our children. They are sitting, I don't mind TikTok, and I know you do. I'm very much on TikTok. I don't mind Facebook. I don't mind all the things you watch on. But I really ask myself, what are you watching that enable you to become a better person? TikTok really has got amazing things. I watch you. I watch your YouTubes. I watch your TikToks. I'm old as I am. I'm turning 60 this year, but I still learn so much from you. Learn so much. I'm thinking there's so many things we learn from all these things. And if our children are struggling, yes, there's so much for them to learn. Mm-hmm. My question is, what are they sitting doing? What are they sitting and looking at that doesn't enable them to be the best? And we hire them. We struggle to get them to be to do work because they want to hold their phones all the time. They don't, and they don't prioritize what needs to be prioritized at the same time. So I think if I was to talk about my journey, maybe just to go back, I really think my journey, it's been so amazing. And I feel it's a journey that everybody has the same opportunity that I have, this question is, how do you make use of it? And how do you make yourself vulnerable? I think vulnerability can enable you to become the best of who you want to be. And really realizing that I've never done this. I see it with some of our talent. They hire them and they become competitive to themselves to such an extent that they don't want to ask and they end up failing. And you end up thinking you failed, but actually you didn't fail. Actually you failed because you didn't know what you were doing. And you believed in yourself and you believed into something that doesn't exist. So I think...
Is vulnerability the reason why you were able to pivot from one industry to another industry to another industry? I mean, you're talking IBM, Avon, Coca-Cola, you sit on property company boards, you sit on several boards in companies that are unrelated.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing. Your journey is not property. You sit on insurance. So it's a wide range of companies whose boards you sit on. Is that because you use vulnerability to learn and then to excel?
It's yes. But I'm going to say yes and. I think I told you my father wanted me to be the doctor. I've always said, what can I specialize in? What is it that I want to be known for? Because when you are known for that thing, it doesn't matter where you take it to. I wanted to be known for understanding HR. I wanted to be known for human resources, and not just ordinary human resources, strategic human resources. I read, I attend courses, I really, really, really understand business, and I translate that into, okay, if you say you want to grow, you can't grow without the right talent that can grow that. If you want excellent customer service, you can't grow, they have customer service if people don't know what they're doing, which means training must be very good. So I really, really said, I want to specialize in what I know. I actually refused when they say, make you a Coca-Cola. I don't want that. Yes. I want people to say, make you a HR. HR, make go to the HR. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And really...
You're talking mining as well.
So I wanted to make sure I know HR, because when I know it, I can go anywhere with it. It doesn't matter, because all what I need to know is know this business, attach it to my knowledge that I'm bringing in there. So that's really what I focus on. I focus on really in what I know, but also at the same time, to your point, vulnerability. Where I don't know, I ask. I remember when I went my first interview for a board, which I've never been before, I called Katie and I said, Katie, I'm going for an interview. What's going to be different from an interview from being an HR director? He said, Maggie, now you're not going to do the job. You're going to oversee the job. You need to think about how you answer a question when you are overseeing something. You don't want them don't want to leave the room by making the HR director in the room feel like, sure, this one is going to take my job. I'm not going to be able. She's going to just be on top of me. I don't even know what I'm going to do, what I'll be doing in the room. So, and that helped me a lot. I remember my first interview, I failed. When I left, everybody said, she can be the best HR director. And they gave me that feedback that we wanted you, but we were worried that will you ever understand what it means to really be a board member in the room. And I went back and I studied. I bought so many. What does it mean to be a board? I even went to Harvard to learn what does it mean to be an effective board member. I even went to our South African Institute and I studied, I learned so that I understand what does this thing mean? What does it look like? And I spoke to different people to really tell me about what does it mean to be a board. And that really just helped me. So I think in summary, vulnerability, continuous learning and development, really identifying what is it that you want to be good at and be good and understand what does good look like, and allow yourself to be given feedback. Because even in that good, people are going to give you feedback. And when they give you feedback, don't be big-headed and think you know it all. See an opportunity out of it and say, what am I learning out of this? Versus, I know it, but saying, what am I learning out of this? I mean, just the other day, someone gave us feedback, and it wasn't a feedback per se, it was just a project that we are on. And the team was starting to be frustrated. And I said, you can't be frustrated. Let's learn. What could we have done better? I know we are doing our job, but maybe there's something more we could have done better. So it's really looking at everything you hear as an opportunity versus pitting yourself and saying, what does it does to me? Versus saying, what is this opportunity? I think one of the things I learned from IBM was spending time talking about the things that work. You are depriving yourself the opportunity of looking at the things that are not working and improving them so that you can add to the list of the things that work. And that's the mentality that I do things with. And sometimes it comes across as I'm not appreciative, but it's because I've seen if you spend time celebrating the things that work, you actually are, if we're in a meeting and it's 1 hour and you're spending 30 minutes talking about things that work, you're actually wasting time. Instead of using that 1 hour and say what is broken, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be improved, or what needs to be enhanced, and what needs to be, what do we need to start doing that we haven't been doing. So it was an approach that I loved, and that I think it has worked for me over the years, that every day I'm looking at what can I add, and what can I improve, and what can I make, what can I change, and what can I really embrace that I've never embraced before. And really focus. It was another thing. I really focus. And you can imagine when you get all these promotions and when you start driving change in businesses, it's not easy. It's people and it's people's brains. But really focus. And I love my God. I didn't tell you that. I read my Bible first word until the last word every year. If you look at my Bible, I have a plan, 365 or 360 days of reading different chapters every day. I wake up without fail. I'm sure if you follow me, you'll see that I've got consistency in terms of sharing my word, even though I share it differently.
Every morning at 5 o'clock.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's because I really love my God, because I find that's what carried me. I'm not fazed by the challenges that I meet. I'm not fazed by what people say or what they do. I'm really fazed by the impact I make. Yes, if I made something wrong. And I think one of the things that I thank God for, I apologize easily if there's something wrong that I've done, and I forgive easily. And because I do that because I believe the more you forgive, the more you apologize, the more you free the space in you to add the things that matters and be able to make an impact to the people around you.
So there's something that you once said as we draw to a close, and I think he wants to ask a question because he said until the end, right? He said he was going to leave, but we're going to open up for some questions. You once said that you are CEO, executive director outside, but when you walk into your house, you are a wife.
Exactly.
That is left at work. How are you able to balance all of that while being a boss everywhere?
Yeah. I think one of the things about me is I'm very intentional in everything I do. Even when I go home, I become a real child to my mother. When I go to my mother-in-law, I give her weight. I become a real daughter-in-law. When I get into the house, my husband is the leader of the house. I want to enjoy every space for what it is. Even when I'm with friends, I want to be a friend. Even when I'm in the office, I want to, if there's time to be an executive, I wear my executive role. When I'm in a board, it's time to be a board member, I wear my board. And it's all about me wanting to make sure that I live the life that is relevant at any given time. I really enjoy every space for what it is. I step in and I say, what is this space asking me to do? And I want to be in this space. And I can enjoy this space. I enjoy being a wife. And I want my husband to enjoy being a husband, because in that manner, we will enjoy the happiness of our marriage. I mean, we really enjoy our marriage. And I want my children to feel a mother in the house, not the boss in the house, because then my kids will grow up not having a mother, but having a boss. I'm really that. And now my kids are actually my teachers, because they grew up different from how I grew up. And I've told them that they must teach and help me. Yes, when I have to be a mother, I become a mother. And when I have to be a housewife, I become a wife. So I'm very intentional in everything I do, and it helps me to really be relevant when I think about every space that I've been. When I leave, I feel like I was part of where I was. So being with my husband, I want him to feel he's with a wife, not a boss.
Sure.
Exactly.
Wow. Very inspiring. You go. You can go ahead, sir. He said he was leaving. Did he not say that?
Left. I did. So I basically don't have a question, but I rather have a compliment. There's a lot of things that I learned from you, Maggie.
I can hear him very well. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maggie, I don't have a question for you, but I more like have a compliment, right? There are a lot of things that I've learned from you. Value, support, integration. Like, I want to ask, how do you manage to how did you manage to integrate from one career to another within more or less of a short space of time?
You mean integrating from one career to another?
Yes.
Yeah. You remember in the beginning, he asked me, did you know what you're going to be?
Yes.
I said, no, never knew what I'm going to be, but I really wanted to do the things as long as I can add value and as long as I can make a difference. So I've always looked at what is this opportunity asking of me?
Yes.
And how can I make a difference with this opportunity?
Yes.
And if I don't know it, who knows it? Who can help me? And if I don't know it, who knows whatever needs to.
Yes.
That's how I've really lived my life. So moving from one career, doing different things, it has never been a challenge to me, because I knew it wasn't about, do I know this? It was about, it's an opportunity in front of me. I must grab it. And when I grab it, someone has done it before. How do I not misuse this opportunity and make sure that I make the most out of it? Yes. That's what really enabled me. I was enabled because other people have done it. And they were just there to assist me. I allowed myself to say, I don't know. And I allowed myself to say, I don't know, but I'm given an opportunity.
Okay.
And I don't know something that someone knows. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are making sense. You are making sense. And I can see that by doing that, you have created value within yourself. Exactly. Because now you are being headhunted instead of you actively seeking for employment.
Exactly.
Because of the value that you have created within yourself, within the career, within the work that you do.
Yeah. I think we forget that we are like a brand.
But
yeah, are you answered? We forget that we are like a brand. You know, Coke, let's say Coca-Cola. You go in the shop, the fridge is full of Coca-Cola. Why? Because the brand Coke has really positioned itself as the best beverage. You need to think about yourself like that. What is it that you can do for yourself that makes you, when 10 people are standing, they think, witness, not Maggie? How can you brand yourself that you become a number one brand. And I think maybe working for brand also propelled me to say, I want to be a brand. And what will that brand look like? And I actually have designed what the brand make it look like. I didn't share that with you. I'm sure one day we'll find another opportunity.
In the masterclass.
Yes, the masterclass. So really, really ask yourself, if you are a brand and you are like Coca-Cola when you get into the shop, which owns 70% of the space of beverages. If you are 70%, what will that look like? When a job becomes available, out of the 10 of you, 7 of them only want you. What will that take of you? And that's how I think about me. I mean, now as a board member, I'm always thinking, why would I want to sit on the boards that I want? I'm privileged. I've always said, I want to sit on a global board. I want to sit on a listed company board. I want to sit on a board that is preparing to list. I want to sit on a government board because I want to give back. I want to sit on a small, medium business board where I give my service to grow for our country. And I'm privileged. I sit on GSK, is a global board. I sit on ESCAP, is an ESCOM insurance board, which is more government parastatal. And I feel I'm giving. And I sit on Octodec, it's a listed property company. I sit on RMA, is an insurance board that is preparing itself one day to do bigger. We are doing bigger things. So, and I had to prepare myself for that. It wasn't something that I did without preparation. I say, this is where I want to go and how to prepare myself to get there. Have I answered you?
Does anyone have any more questions? Good evening, Memeki. My name is Fanele. Apologies, I was late for the interview. But the question I have actually 2 questions. One question is, what are the 3 important things to you as an individual, as a professional? And the second question is, how do you think the next person could learn from those things or could implement those things into becoming the better of themselves?
Yeah. I think most of them I've already shared. Maybe because you have asked me, I'll pull it all together. I think the first thing is identify someone who appreciates you. It doesn't have to be your parent. It doesn't have to be your father. It doesn't have to be your sister. There's people out there that just love you, that just appreciate who you are. Identify with them and really use that to propel yourself. And I find a lot of times we focus on those people that look at us negatively. Even those that look at us negatively, we can learn from them. I think for me, that's the first thing, that just appreciating who my parents were and how they created a space for me to be the best of who I want to be, and not paying for, not that they had money. I mean, I was coming from a very humble beginning, but they just created an emotional support that I need. That for me is a number one thing. Who is there to support you emotionally? A lot of times we think it's money. When you're emotionally stable and having the confidence, you can open up any door you want to open. That's the first thing. The second thing is have a vision, even if you don't know what that vision is. I never knew what that vision is. I remember I used to read magazines and I was inspired by the people, how they dress up in the magazine. It was something I didn't have. We didn't have role models that we walk around like I'm seeing this beautiful lady in front of me. We didn't have that. I came from a village where it was only gogos wearing and I just loved their humbleness, what they see. But more than anything, I read magazine. I didn't have money. Whenever I see magazine, I just loved what I see. And I thought, I love these people, how they dress up. One day I want to dress up like this. And I still didn't know what it will take of me to dress up like that. So that's another thing. Just having a dream, a vision, even if you don't know what it is, and just looking for it, trying to find it somewhere until you And God will guide you, see it. And I think the other thing is knowing that you don't know. Knowing that you don't know. If they give you something, you can't just say, I'll do these things, but you've never done it before. As long as you've never done it before, you don't know. Then it means you're going to have to stop and ask. Stop and ask. And I heard people one day when I said this, they said, but when you ask, people say this. I remember saying to my boss, I don't know this. Please give yourself time to help me with confidence. And she could see that this girl really, she's asking for help. And for me, those are the three things that they're basic, but they are those things. These are the things that enabled me.
Thank you. Always answer.
And I think the fourth one, not afraid to stop and ask. Every day people will say a lot of people will tell you that Maggie is not scared. She just, when she arrives, she just comes in. I've been like that since I was young. When I come in, if I love something, I'll walk in here and say, oh, I like this thing. Why did you do this? I'll really be like very inquisitive mind. And I found that really works. All of us, we can be inquisitive, of course, with limitations, but I find it opens up a lot of doors when you ask questions because you get to know what you didn't know and it enables you to ask even better questions and you become more knowledgeable. And next time you ask a better question.
Last question. A witness always talks about mentors. In your opinion, this is just an open question. I know there's no one, one way of getting everything right. But what is your approach in terms when it comes to finding a mentor as Maggie? And what are the things maybe that, I like the fact that in every statement you've made, there's a nuggets of steps that you would share that I've taken this step. I've went to Harvard. I went to Wits. I did 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think that is very important because many are times where someone says, do this, find a mentor. How do I find one? And we end up just not knowing how to do it. So what is your what is your approach in finding someone who could mentor you and who you can relate to as well? Because I think that it's important that you can relate to your mentor because I could ask anyone, any powerful person to mentor me, but if we cannot relate and if they cannot make me reach or they cannot help me to reach where I would like to be, then they would not be a great mentor to me.
Yeah. So there's mentoring and there's coaching. You know that, yeah? So mentoring definitely for a young talent that still wants to learn the ropes of what to do, it's a very good idea. So other companies, they've really realized that this is because learning, to be honest, 90% of our learning, we learn by watching and by doing. The 10% is where we go and read the book or go to class. 90% we learn by watching and doing. There's many ways. So if you are in a company, you tell your boss that I think I need a mentor. And a boss is because they're already well networked, they will support you in knowing what a mentor you need. If you're not in a company, there are people around you that work, that you know, your cousins, your sisters, you are anyone that you know, tell them that, look, I just need a mentor. And they will ask you, what for? Be honest and say, actually, I don't know what I don't know. I just need someone I can tell where I am, who I am. Maybe they can guide me on what is the next road. A lot of times we try to tell people what type of a mentor are we looking for, and then they battle to find them. But if we just tell them that I'm looking for someone to help me to think and help me to just think what I need to think, maybe they can even help me to find the right person to walk me on the journey. So the unfortunate part of it is, I'll give you an example. A lot of people come to me and ask me to help them with mentorship, coaching. I try, but to be honest, the busy diary that I have, I also do executive coaching is one of the business I do. That's what I do. I coach executives. I coach different people in different companies. I do team coaching, but it's like a business on my side. But I don't take away to still, I love giving at the same time. It's just the time that I'm really praying that as I get older, I free up myself to give a little bit more, to coach more. But I think a coach really, a mentor, it's the people you know around you. Just ask them. And if you don't know, if they ask you, what type of a coach are you looking for? If you don't know, you don't know. You can even ask them, help me to ask the right question if I'm not asking the right question. This is the problem. I find myself not knowing where to go. They will guide you. I find myself, I've started this job, they're saying is this, and I don't even know where to start, but I don't know who to ask. I'm scared in the business. I don't know anyone. Who do you know out there that can help me? They will find people to support you. It's really, a lot of times you hear people are asking you, but they're not asking you. They're telling you. And when someone is telling you, if you're going to tell them that, but what you're saying is not right, you might even you might be even telling them, it's like you're saying to them, don't ask me because you know better. But I really think coaching, everyone can coach, but it's how you ask and be vulnerable, what you're looking for. And if you don't know, tell them that I don't know, but I know I need someone to help me. Yes. Am I making sense?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You did. By the way, the program we ran at Boston was a brilliant one. I'm part of the people that used the program from, that was in 2010, between 2010 and 2011. I actually graduated from that program.
Which one?
The Boston one.
Boston one. Oh, brilliant.
The IBM one. Yes.
Brilliant. Yes.
Boston ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, guys. We've reached the end of, I didn't want it to end, actually. But every good thing, especially things that have got time is very limited, have got to come to an end. Do you want to speak to the viewer at home? Just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The
viewer at home.
Yeah.
There's so many viewers, remember? There's business, there's people that are unemployed. I think to business, I really feel, I know businesses are really pulling hard. But to be honest, there's so many opportunities for young talent to get into corporate and learn and ask and enable the young talent to ask the right question. But also to cooperate for the young talent that are there. Let's create a space for them to ask questions and enable them to be vulnerable, because it's so brutal that young talent are scared to ask. They think if I ask, I don't have my job, my next job tomorrow. But this then talks to leadership. Let's make sure as managers, we realize that the next leaders are made. We have a responsibility to allow them to ask us questions without judging them. But to young graduates that are not finding any work, I feel in this country there's so many opportunities. I look at this, what you're doing. You just yourself just stop and thought and really use your brain to do something different. So a lot of times you hear people saying, I'm thinking, but nobody's there to help me. Who are you asking? That's the question. If you're asking someone who's in the similar boat as you are, you're not going to get the answers. And I think to all of us, including myself, we must create a platform where young talent can be able to come and ask, and we can support them and direct them to the right places where they can get the support they need. Because I know we talk about this thing so well, but we're not available to give them the support they need. So I really wish one day there can be this forum where people that have made it in their career, we sit and help. And it's a forum where they just call in and say, this is what I'm going through. This is the support I need. And we support them and we partner with the different. So partnership, I really feel it's something that if all of us we pull together, we can reduce this unemployment rate in a massive way. We care. I just feel at the moment we are celebrating unemployment. We are not really doing much about it. I mean, I look at in our company, we can actually educate a lot of graduates by working with them, and as long as someone is promising to pay their salaries. And we can make them, and they can go, and when they come in there, they've actually learned so much, and they've learned even greater, because we do a lot of big stuff with the young talent that watch us like first hand. So imagine if we every 3 months we take 5 and they go back into corporate. We can create this thing of there's no skill can come to an end. There's no skill because we are not innovative enough to do better things that enable this country.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to come and sit with us here at the Winner's Circle on the It's More Than Just Money Movement channel. And we are broadcasting from our pop-up store at Mall of Africa in Johannesburg, South Africa. And if you're watching from YouTube, wherever place you're watching from, please comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know which part of the conversation resonates with you. Follow the HR Touch. I don't know if you can find Mama on social media. She's not. She can.
I am on social media. Yes, but I'm not. We are coming to relaunch ourselves.
They can follow you on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Maggie Mojapelo. But from me and my team broadcasting from Johannesburg, South Africa. See you again in the next episode. It's More Than Just Money. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, very much.